Cube Press. Now, I don't think you can see me. Now, as everybody who's ever knows, I am not the most technical person in the world, but you don't need to see me. You all know that I'm incredibly handsome and have a beard. But who is important that you see here is Helen Montgomery. Helen Montgomery is, excuse me, uh, a cough and it makes me nervous. I was down at the restaurant having breakfast and my ears just perked up at every cough, sneeze, and everything that occurred in the background. And it's like, I just got to get out of here. Okay. So, but anyway, Helen Montgomery is heading up CHICON, which is 8, which is the what number world 54th Worldcon?
We are the 80th World Science Fiction Convention.
80th, 54. You know, it only matters if you're living the years.
80th.
80th. Now,
Yep.
for a guy who's been to the last 3 world or 2 of the last 3 of the last 4 Worldcons, I should know that. But she's here because what they've got is a fantastic lineup of guests in one of the most storied cities in America. I mean, Chicago. Carl Sandburg, you know, I mean, how can you go wrong? So, Edie, what is Worldcon?
What is Worldcon? So Worldcon is the World Science Fiction Convention. It's been going since 1939. The first one was meant to be a one-off. It was held in conjunction with the New York World's Fair in 1939. But a couple of intrepid teenage fans from Chicago went out to that and decided it was so much fun and such a great idea that it should keep going. And so they convinced the organizers to have it in Chicago the next year, and it's been going ever since, with a small break during World War II. And the folks who brought it back to Chicago, Mark Reinsberg and Earl Korshak. Earl Korshak is actually one of our guests of honor for CHICON 8. He unfortunately passed away in August of 2021, but we're really pleased because he knew that we were honoring him, and we're going to continue to honor him. We're working with his family to do so, but without Earl, there would not be Worldcon. And so he was a no-brainer for us in terms of a guest of honor. So
No, we're not talking without Earl, there wouldn't be a CHICON. Without Earl, there wouldn't be Worldcon, period.
Correct.
And,
yeah, he and Mark are the reason that it kept going after that one time in New York.
And then all of the little ancillary cons that have grown out of it, Star Trek having a model to draw on. I mean, you're talking about a very significant guest in terms of what we all do and how we interact with each other in fandom.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That is amazing. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it's all good. It's really super cool that you got folks like that in the world and that we can remember them because, you know, we're here for a reason. I mean, where are you at right now? What convention are you attending?
I am attending Norwestcon in Seattle this weekend. I live here in Seattle now, so I'm actually doing this from my house. I'm not staying at the hotel this weekend, but I'll be back down at the DoubleTree once this is over.
Well, I was actually worried that you were going to be at the DoubleTree and the internet was going to be. Anybody who's ever gone to a con knows what con internet looks like.
Right.
It's fun. So you're going to be in Chicago.
We are.
Wonderful time of year for the weather in Chicago, I'm told.
Yes. Yeah. No. Labor Day weekend is gorgeous usually. So.
And so, I pleasure of having a couple of your guests of honor on the show, Edie and Joe.
Yep.
But you've got an incredible lineup. And by the way, let me say this just for the fans. Jim Wright is going to be at um, your convention. You know, he's going to be the guy walking around with 500 people following him in the
Excellent.
hallways. He's just
I
a,
look forward to those 500 people buying their memberships.
well, I tell you what, we'll talk afterwards about maybe get him on together.
Sure.
Because he's a great guy to talk to. But back to you. So, Charles DeLaet, is that your writer guest?
He was. So we actually announced, yeah, no, we actually had to announce last week due to some family circumstances. He has withdrawn as guest of honor, which I know many people are aware. His wife has been very ill. Um, and so he reached out to us, and because of that, they just weren't going to be able to attend. And so Worldcon, it's interesting. Like as I said, Earl passed. One of our guests, founder Earl Korshak, he passed away, but we're still honoring him. And we talked with Charles, and what we decided is rather than continue to honor Charles in his absence, we've released him from being a guest of honor. So, and our hope is that in the near future, another Worldcon will absolutely pick him up and give, honor him as he truly deserves. So, so at the moment, we don't have an author guest of honor. That just happened last week. So we are currently discussing what our plan is going to be, whether we're bringing in another guest of honor or we're going to bring in some authors as featured guests. We haven't decided yet. We needed a little bit of time to just be sad about the fact that Charles wasn't going to be with us, but now we're figuring out what we're going to do.
Well, if you need a new guest of honor, I did publish a short story in an anthology. Now it's out of print because only 12 people bought copies, but
we have gotten many an offer like that, let me tell you. So.
I can't believe, but I tell you there are. Well, as the editor and owner of BQ Press, and this podcast is brought to you by BQ Press, telling the truth, one story at a time. I can attest to the fact that America and the world is blessed with a load of incredible writers, and I do not sort of envy you, but it's kind of like that concept where I'm sitting here with I've got 20 slots to fill and 900 stories to fill them, and of those 900, about 500 of them are worthy of being in that book, and so you've got a world full of worthy authors.
Yes.
And so I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a lot of fun to pick your guests of honor. Like it's definitely one of the cool perks of running something like this is you get to look and see just there's so many great options, and you get to think about who's exciting for us. So like for me, our one of our other guests of honor, we have an artist guest of honor, Floyd Norman, who may not be as well known by name to the Worldcon community, but Floyd Norman started as an animator with Disney back in the 50s. He worked on Sleeping Beauty. And he was the first Black animator at Disney. And Sleeping Beauty for me was absolutely one of like the gateway drugs into genre. Because there's this sorceress and she can cast spells and she can turn into a dragon, right? Like it's complete fantasy, right? And so I'm really excited to be able to have him be our guest of honor, because I think for a lot of people, animation, Saturday morning cartoons and Disney movies and all that really was kind of the gateway into a lot of the science fiction and fantasy genre for us.
And
And
His
still
art
is. Yeah.
shaped the visions of what
Mm-hmm.
we perceive a dragon
Yeah.
to be in some ways.
Sure.
Wow. That is
Yeah.
uh, that is amazing. You have really, truly, I won't say lucked out because you know what Churchill said about luck?
I do not.
Churchill said luck is when opportunity meets preparation.
Oh, I
Uh,
like that. Yeah.
and running a successful con, people will say, "Wow, you're sure lucky that worked out." And I said, "No, I was ready when the opportunity presented itself."
Yep.
And yeah, yeah, I am so glad that they've got somebody of your competence and um, um,
Tell me I'm competent after it's all done. That's
oh,
that's
well, you see, so far, the mere fact that you get contacted yesterday afternoon and today we're having this conversation streamed over all of your channels and your staff was contacting me already last night setting it up tells me you don't judge a person's competence by sitting there and their smile at you. You judge their competence by how well the team they put together is working. And your team
true.
seems to be working. So
My team is pretty awesome. I have to say, my team is pretty awesome. So
well, so let's see. So far, I brought up one dead guess, one uh, guest that has had to cancel for you. Uh,
well, we have lots of others. So
let's see. Do you have an
um,
editor guest?
we don't.
Okay.
So
Just
we
go
we
back.
s- we started with 5 guests of honor. So we had Earl, Charles DeLint, we have Floyd Norman, and then our fan guests of honor, who you mentioned already, are Edie Stern and Joe Sclari. Um, Now, Joe, they're fans from New England, and Joe chaired MagicCon, which was the 50th World Science Fiction 50th, 50th. I think it
You
was.
didn't mention that when we talked.
Yeah, he chaired MagicCon down in Florida, and Edie ran program for it. But one of the things that they're really well known for now is they run an organization called FANAC, and they are the Fanish archive. They have I mean, it's just so many amazing things. They collect all kinds of things from conventions and from fandom. They have a ton of fanzines and
Well,
just they're just amazing people. And they're also art collectors. They're going to be bringing some of their artwork to ChiCon, as is the Korshak family. Earl was a huge art collector starting back in like the 40s, right? And so the Korshak collection, as it is known, will be displaying part of that at ChiCon as well. So if you're at all a science fiction art person, you really want to come to ChiCon because it's
I
going to be
will tell you,
amazing.
I'm looking forward to it. Now, here's a moment again. On the BQ YouTube page, okay, the
Hmm.
YouTube BQ Press has a page on YouTube. We have a show where Tom
Yes.
Whitmore, another person in that epic genre of fandom legends,
And
dude,
former Worldcon chair.
yeah, Worldcon, Joe and Edie, and walk through the house having and Joe gave a little talk about a whole bunch of the art that they had
Hmm.
in the house there. And so if you're into that kind of stuff, uh, that is an epic show where
Yeah.
it's like couldn't have done it without Tom. So now,
And we have more people. I can tell you about the rest of the
oh,
people
keep
too.
going.
I know you because you said yourself we have an epic list, and we do, and it's a list. It's a long list. Our Toastmasters we're super excited about. We have Annalie Newitz and Charlie Jane Anders. Many people know them as the folks who started the website IO9. They are also both authors. They've both gotten Hugo Awards. They won a Hugo in 2019 for their podcast, which is called Our Opinions Are Correct. And they are actually nominated again this year. So they're going to be hosting things like our opening and closing ceremonies. They're going to be hosting the Hugo Awards this year at ChiCon, and we're super excited to have them. And then we've got 3 featured guests right now. So we have Dr. Eve Ewing, Eve L. Ewing. Um, She is a sociologist and a poet. She's at the University of Chicago. She also released last year her first middle grade book called Maya and the Robot, which is an absolutely delightful story. And if you have a middle grade reader, you need to get them this book. It was fantastic. It opens with a food fight and it just gets better. And so she's one of our featured guests. And then we have two artists who are featured guests as well. Gene Ha, he's also based in the Chicago area. He is a well-known comic artist. And Eric Wilkerson, who is a illustrator and what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, he's worked with film, advertising, video games, comics, everything. And so they are also our featured guests, and we're very excited to have them. And you can, on our website, which is chicon.org, you can find out more information about everybody who's coming, including we have our first list of program participants is out on the list now. So, and we're going to be adding more names to that, I believe, later in April, if not, and then we should have the full list out sometime in June. So you can see who's going to be on program.
Well, that will be fantastic.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your venue.
So we are at the Hyatt Regency Chicago, which is right downtown. It is at basically it's on the river at Michigan Avenue. Michigan Avenue, just north of there, is what's traditionally known as the Magnificent Mile. There is shopping and tourist stuff and so many restaurants, all the restaurants. You can walk to Millennium Park, you can walk to the Art Institute, the Adler Planetarium, the Field Museum, the Shedd Aquarium. We're right across from the Museum of the American Writer. There's the Chicago History Museum nearby. There's the Museum of Contemporary Art. It's such an amazing location. We're right by Navy Pier. We're right by the Loop. Everything's there. The facility is really great for Worldcon because we're basically a convention under one roof. The way the Hyatt is structured is there's two towers of hotel rooms, and then underneath it all is the convention center. So unlike a lot of places where you have to go from your hotel to the convention center and go outside and walk a ways, for us, you get in an elevator. More information about everybody who's coming, including we have held to the convention. Ooh, got an echo there. Sorry.
Oh, that was me troubleshooting to make sure the system was displaying out there.
Okay. So it's a great location. And the Hyatt Regency, fun little bit of trivia is, so Chicago has hosted, this will be the 8th Worldcon in Chicago. This is the most any city has ever had. Boston's had 4, LA has had either 4 or 5, depending on how you count. The Hyatt Regency, this will be the 5th Worldcon at the Hyatt Regency. So the Hyatt has hosted more Worldcons than any other city, which is a very strange but cool little bit of trivia. So we're really happy to be back there again. It's a fantastic site for us. So, and for those who have been wondering, you can book your rooms starting April 25th, so a week from tomorrow. And all that information's on our website.
Now, I'm sorry, I was just looking at something there on the screen. I get distracted real easily.
Squirrel.
So, what is every Worldcon has something that separates it from other Worldcons?
What's going to be our thing?
What's yours?
What is ours? Well, gosh. I think for us, we're having, gosh. It's been a little weird this time because of the pandemic. it's made planning really, really difficult, right? Not gonna lie about that. It's been a rough couple of years trying to plan it, and so some of the bigger ideas we had, we don't think we're going to be able to pull off. But Chicago has such a vibrant fanish culture, and then within the city, there's so much. Um, you know, we're going to have live theater, we're going to have live music, we're going to have, you know, we will of course have the Masquerade and the Hugo Awards, and you know, interviews with all of our guests, a huge focus on art. Um, we will be doing virtual along with it. So that's something that of course has really become a thing since the pandemic. Of course, Con Zealand in 2020, the Worldcon, had to pivot to be completely virtual. And last year's Worldcon in DC also did a strong virtual component, and we will be doing one as well. And we're going to be putting out information about that later this month. Um, and people will be able to start buying memberships for virtual CHICON 8 starting in May. So, so we're continuing, and we'll be, you know, DC was pretty hybrid, both live and in person, and we're going to be continuing that as well. Um, so yeah, I'm not quite sure yet what the big thing is going to be for us that nobody else has done or anything. We have some ideas. We're seeing if we can make them pan out, but they may be a surprise. So,
Well, as a longtime Worldcon goer,
mhm.
um, I can tell you the things that oftentimes will pop up, and my questions as to, well, that's just going to be like, is on the venue. I mean, am I going to have to be wandering from hotel to hotel to see things? So you're
Nope.
going to be one of the first in a long time totally uh, contained conventions,
Correct.
and that's
Correct.
a big deal for people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It is. It's really nice. And one of the things, so if anybody was at ChiCon 7 in 2012, the hotel's done a lot of renovations since then. They've completely redone the lobby. There's a bigger restaurant and a second bar, or third or fourth bar. I don't remember. There's a
hey,
lot of
come on!
them.
I've got a
um,
party to get going. There will be a 24th bar.
right. But there's lots of comfy seating now. They've expanded their function space. It's such a great site for a Worldcon. We just fit really well in that spot. So
So
we're
if I'm sitting at the Worldcon and I've got my puppy and I want to take it for a walk and I step out of that hotel, am I going to step out onto a honking horns and city streets and nightmare parking and stuff, or am I going to step out onto a what am I going to see when I step out of your hotel?
when you step out of the hotel, you're stepping on it's on Wacker Drive, but it's right on the river. And so one of the things I would absolutely recommend when if you come out the front door of the hotel, right at the corner as you come out, there's a staircase that goes down to the Riverwalk, um, which is very much like putting you in a whole another area of the city because you know you're below the streets, you're walking along the river, and it's absolutely wonderful. Now, if you want to go the other direction, right? If you want a U-turn when you come out of the hotel, just two blocks south of the hotel is Millennium Park. Millennium Park is home to the Bean. Well, Cloudgate is the official name for it, but we all call it the Bean. Um, and you know, there's a huge garden down there, and it's just it's you know, there's a big fountain that'll be up and running at that point, the Crown Fountain, and um, so you know you can kind of choose if you want to come out of the hotel and just hang a left, then that's going to start putting you into the loop with all of the architecture and the office buildings um, and all of that kind of stuff. So you can it's great because you can kind of choose what you want to do.
You
It's
mentioned
it
the
is
American
in the
Heart.
middle. You want to go shopping? head north, you know, like so
You
much stuff.
mentioned the American Writers Museum.
Yeah. Yeah. The Museum of the American Writer is on, I believe it's Michigan Avenue. I'm
Walking
going to,
distance.
oh, yeah. Yep.
That sounds like
Um,
a wonderful organized tour event maybe happening in the background.
we're looking at that. One of the things that we have is we have our Fringe division, as we call it. And so Fringe is setting up all of the things that will take place outside of the convention space. So, including, we're going to be doing a bunch of things this summer. We're going to be doing virtual Hugo discussion groups. So, talking about all of the different categories and the nominees, finalists for this year. So, you'll have a chance to talk about, if you want to come talk about the films, best dramatic presentation, long form, short form, best related work, all of them. We're going to have discussion groups for. We're going to also set up
Impressive.
some virtual quizzes, pub quiz type things, and all of that. But then at the convention itself, Fringe is responsible for kind of that week before and after, and then during. So I know they're working on doing some stuff with the American Writers Museum. Um, we're looking at organizing an outing to go see the White Sox play, because there's a remarkably large overlap between baseball fans and science fiction fans. So we did this for a Cubs game in 2012 and had about 30, 40 people who went up to see the Cubs game. We're doing that for the White Sox this time because they're the ones who are in town.
No,
We
besides that,
will.
the Cubs are there just to disappoint.
Oh,
They're
well,
there. They're there to break your heart.
well, less so since 2016, but um, they've got a long ways to go before they reach the same level of heartbreak they had before then. But we're also looking at, just across the border in Wisconsin is the Bristol Renaissance Fair. So we're looking at doing like an outing to there the weekend before the convention. We're looking at setting up some architecture tours, all kinds of cool things. So, if you're coming in early or staying after the convention, there's still going to be things for you to do with other attendees. We're trying to set up a bunch of things. So,
And so, also, what you're telling me is if your spouse is not quite as enamored of fandom as you are, that your spouse can find
oh yeah,
plenty to do that's awesome.
absolutely. Your partner, your kids, whatever, and
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're
bring them along. There's so much to do, so much to do there. It's it is
I'm
truly
looking.
an amazing city, and I lived there for 24 years before I came out here, and I miss it every day, you know. Um, and it's also easy to get around if you don't have a car. If you want to go to other neighborhoods and stuff, public transportation there between the buses and the trains is fantastic. So yeah, no, bring the whole fam. Bring the whole family to the convention if they're into it too. We have rates for teenagers and children. You can bring your kids in tow. We will have children's program. We will have a teen lounge. Um, so there'll be plenty for everybody to do if you want to bring them along as well. So
Well, I will probably. I see. I get the lucky part. I get to drive out, and
ah,
uh, I may or may not be bringing my granddaughter,
okay,
um, and because she loves conventions, and I still remember the first convention. Not first convention. I took her to a Worldcon. My first time in the dealer's room.
okay.
It is amazing what a little 8-year-old girl standing at your table who can tell you everything about every book on it does
Yes,
for your sales.
yes,
Please,
yes.
mister, buy my grandpa's book so we can eat tonight.
So the um, our head of children's program, her name is Caitlin. She is my non-biological niece. She's the daughter of one of my best friends. And Caitlin, when she was younger, when we were bidding for 2008, and in particular, Caitlin would have been around 7 or 8. And I used to sit her at the table with us so that she could tell everybody why they should come to Worldcon in Chicago. And it was fantastic. It was fantastic. They are the best salespeople you can ask for. So,
Oh,
and now she's all grown up and she's going to run our kids program, which is kind of amazing.
you gotta love that kind of stuff. I mean, I have never regretted having my kid, raising her knowing what, a little bit about fandom and being there,
Hmm.
etc.
Yeah.
This convention was uh, one of her first, and uh, I actually brought somebody to be my. I got to go do this stuff, and they just ran this convention up one side and down the other.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
so
we want to have a lot of stuff for kids, and then there's going to be stuff for the adults. Our program is going to be amazing. I just got to see. We're right at the stage now where the people who said that they're interested in being program participants are now going through. We're doing
panel
like
surveys.
opt-in program, if you will. I tend to call it choose your own adventure program. My program person just rolls their eyes at me when I do it, but it's an opt-in type of program. So they've all said we want to be on program, and we've said okay, and then you get the full listing of program items and you can choose which ones you're interested in being on.
Yeah.
And then after that, we will then go through and do the final assignments, right? But this way, um, as the head of program, they're not going to know everybody, right? And we don't always know the little things about somebody, that we know this person as a scientist and they're really good on hard science program, but little did we know that they are also a huge fan of My Little Pony, right? And until they signed up and they're like, "Oh, put me on the My Little Pony program," right? So we find that we're going to get a much more interesting and diverse selection of program participants this way. And I just got to do it this week. I was one of the testing folks for signing it, and the program items we have look amazing. I'm so excited.
Well, I
Our
look forward
program
to
team
it.
has done a phenomenal job, and it is absolutely going to be one of those situations where you look at the schedule and you're like, huh, there's 6 things I want to see in that one time slot. And that's the best problem that a Worldcon can have.
That's
So
going to be awesome.
yeah.
I tell you, because I mean, like take Greg Bear for instance. I had no idea that he was an artist of the level he is,
Oh yeah.
and until we had him on the show, and it was like if I was doing the paneling and just assigning him, I might never think to assign him to an art panel. But
Exactly.
if I send him the opt-in, or as I've always called it when I used to do programming, sent him the questionnaire, uh,
Yep.
the
Yeah.
uh, and just fun stuff. So
Everybody's multifaceted, and there's no way to just find all of that in a questionnaire, right? You're not going to get everything. But if you throw out the whole list of program items to people, it's amazing what they're like. Oh, I would be totally interested in doing this. So I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to be an amazing program. They've done a fantastic job.
so when they show up, you
Yes.
say the hotel is just awesome. You've got the Riverwalk. Now
Hmm.
it's SoCon, where they did a Worldcon about 4 years ago. I think David Gerald was a guest of honor, Toastmaster.
Spokane Sasquan was in 2015. Yeah.
Aswan, yeah, that's what it
Hmm.
was. Um, they have a Riverwalk too, and I can tell you that just plan if the Riverwalk up there in Chicago of the I think telling folks be ready to plan, and I'm sure there is. You say there's 4 restaurants in the hotel, and I'll bet you
At
within blocks
least.
there's probably a lot.
Oh, there's a ton. All the food. If
Now,
there's a
is there,
type of food you like, you will be able to find it in Chicago.
if I'm going to Chicago, I'm going to have a brat.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's more Wisconsin. The Chicago hot dog is actually the thing that you're looking for. Brats are much more Wisconsin.
Big long tube of meat stuffed in a pig gut.
Well, basically,
Okay.
that doesn't make it sound very appealing, but sure. But the Chicago style hot dog is a thing that you want to do. And of course, Chicago style pizza is the other thing that you want to do. So make sure that you set aside 2 meals for that at least.
Can you fold it up and eat it?
The pizza? No. No, it's
I,
it is a knife and fork kind of pizza. Many people will mock it and say it is a casserole and not a pizza, but they're wrong. Oh, and Italian beef. You have to have Italian beef. 3 meals. Hot dog, Italian beef, Chicago style pizza.
Now, do you have a panel set up to discuss the merits of Chicago pizza versus real pizza?
I don't think we do. You know what?
You are missing an opportunity there, you know.
You know, we are, and I'm thinking that maybe what we'll need to do is something in the con suite, right? Like some sort of discussion group that occurs in the con suite, maybe with pizza.
Well, I've watched Jon Stewart his entire career, and I will tell you, Jon Stewart I consider him an authority, and
he's wrong. I love Jon Stewart
is wrong on any media outlet. I swear he'll pop out from underneath your desk and say, "No."
You know what? If he wants to come to CHICON 8 and tell me to my face that I'm wrong and saying that he's wrong, we welcome him.
You know, I bet you that would be. Would you comp his membership?
You know, for that I would probably comp his membership. I think I would totally comp his membership. Now, the other one, of course, you know, Stephen Colbert is a huge Lord of the Rings geek, right?
Oh my God!
He should show up too, right?
Oh, I know.
The two of them together. Oh, it would be awesome.
Well, you know, I mean, would be over here eating the pizza. I guess, you know, Stephen Colbert and Jon Stewart are two of the smartest, most entertaining people. And you get the sense that behind all those jokes and laughter is some real serious people that know what the heck they're doing.
True.
I mean, and a true geek, when you fly down to New Zealand and get them to cast you in a little mock-up of Lord of the Rings, it was like, holy cow. Yeah. They wouldn't have done that for Johnny Carson.
Yeah. No, it's amazing watching, listening to Colbert talk about Tolkien. It's just like,
oh yeah, you get him. I mean, I swear, I'll bet you I could hand him a bag of dice and just have him open the bag of dice and start, and he could riff on a bag of dice for an hour.
It's true.
And tell you which ones you use to roll up which characters. I never thought it was fair that my magic users had to get their hit points off of 4-sided dice. You know,
right.
It just wasn't fair. Now, if I recall, was Dungeons and Dragons, did it come out of where did it come out of? Was that Chicago?
Close. It was just over in Wisconsin. Oh my gosh, I blanked on the name.
Oh yeah, I remember now. My brain.
It's around Lake Geneva, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I can envision my cover of my little Men in Magic great, you try to talk to some of these guys about Dungeons and Dragons, and they've got this stack of books this thick, and it's like
ours is in the basement.
Huh?
Our stack is in the basement.
Yeah, but my stack had to fit into my Navy rucksack. We didn't call them rucksacks; I call them sea bags. But so that if I couldn't carry it in that bag with all my uniforms and everything else, it didn't go on the ship with me. And I had all my little books plus the very first monster manual.
Yep. I say you need the player's handbook, the monster manual, the dungeon master's guide, and a bag of dice. And from there, you're pretty good. So
you are, as long as you got pen and a paper. Now, speaking of this, so what's your gaming scenarios looking like? Do you have a
We
gaming guest of honor?
we don't have a gaming guest of honor, but we have my friend Jenna is running gaming, and she's been running it for a local Chicago convention called Capricorn. She's been running it for several years and does a fantastic job. We are going to be my understanding from her is that we are going to be borrowing the lending library from Capricorn. So there'll be lots of games that you can just come in and sign out and hang out and play. We'll be doing, uh, and I know that she'll be setting up, demos and having people come in to run games and all of that. She does a great job. So
So there'll be Settlers of Catan, 47, the Martian Canals.
maybe,
I don't know if they have it by then.
maybe, I don't know. Yes, no, she does an awesome job with the gaming stuff. So.
But anyway, so people showing up who love game, who go to conventions for gaming, will
Yeah.
not be disappointed.
No. And the area where we're going to put gaming is really cool, and it's very public too, because one of the things we know with gaming is a lot of times if you walk by and you see something, you want to stop and watch and join in, right? So we've put it in a very public location.
With gamers, you should see
near a bar, and it's near one of the bars. So and then then we're also looking to have and this is mostly finalized. So if it doesn't happen, I apologize, but the Royal Manticoran Navy fan group is going to be bringing their Artemis Bridge simulator setup. So that's another thing that you'll be able to do at CHICON is to get on and play some Artemis. So, which should be super fun.
Now, how are you doing with the local colleges? Are they? I'm assuming that your promotions people are just inundating them with information, but you got anything teamed up with them?
I'm not sure. I know one of the things that we are looking to do, and I have no idea if this has happened yet. Loyola University Chicago has a Quidditch team, and we had them come in for ChiCon 7 in 2012 and do like a kids program item where the kids could play Quidditch. And I actually just saw them. I was at C2E2, which is the big comic convention in Chicago. I was there this past December, and the Quidditch team were there. So I got their info and I've passed it on to people. I'm not sure where we're at with that though.
That is, that just sounds awesome because
and like DePaul does a pop culture festival, so I know that there's folks talking to some folks from there, and so the details we've hit the stage. So it's interesting when you run a Worldcon, right? As the con chair, at the beginning, it's all I'm in on everything, right? I know everything that's happening. And I pick the division heads, but then the division heads start picking their area heads, and then the area heads start getting their staff. And we've reached the point now in the planning, because God help me, we're only 4.5 months out, where I no longer know all of the details.
Well, and
right? And I trust my team, right? But now it's like, but some of the detailed questions, I'm like, I don't know. So it's an interesting experience. So
I am looking forward to it because I'm confident that you're going to have an awesome convention.
Thank you.
Because, but you mentioned you had another list of program participants, a guest that you thought you might want to talk a little bit about. Because I can tell you, it's a great thing to have Joe Haldeman setting up on stage playing his guitar for you, but to know that in the room down the hallway, you've got guests of equal gravitas sitting on a panel, because cons are not just about the guest of honor, especially world cons.
For sure, it's all about the program. Yeah.
So what's some of the other really cool guests in my
So we've got, and you can find the full list if you go to chicon.org. There's a tab that says there's the Who's Coming tab, and there's a program participant list. So this is just round one, but we
Oh, yeah.
have folks like Becky Chambers, Ellen Datlow.
You're bringing Ellen in?
Ellen's going to be
Is
there.
she still buying stories so that she's got her own crowd of people trying to shove manuscripts at her as she runs down the hall?
I don't know. Maybe
She is a
not my
charming
data
guest.
watcher. I'm not sure what's going on.
Uh,
But LD Lewis from Fire Magazine is going to be there. Ada Palmer, who's a local Chicago author. Rebecca Roanhorse, Charlie Strauss, Martha Wells, Sheila Williams. There's a whole bunch of folks, and then we've got folks who are we already know we're going to be participating virtually. And yeah, so you can see the whole list is on the website. So
well, that will be cool. I will look forward to
yeah,
seeing it.
yeah.
'Cause,
And also on the website, I should point out, you can find out how you can join CHICON 8. I would be remiss if I did not tell people how to actually come to Worldcon.
and
So
that would be good
yeah,
because
so we have lots of different membership classes. Again, if you go to chicon.org, you can click on memberships. One of the things that's important for folks to know is the rates will be going up on May 1st. So if you are interested in coming, now's the time. And then, as I said, also, if you know that you can't come in person, but you want to be part of the virtual, those are going to also go on sale in May. And
that is awesome.
yeah, yeah. So definitely take a look at that because we would love to see you.
Are
So
you going to have a media track?
oh yeah, there's a ton of media. So there's hard science program, there's media program, there's anime program, there's costuming program, there's literature of all the kinds. There's a writer's track. There's one of the cool tracks we're doing that I had not mentioned is we're doing the 1946 project, as we call it. So we're highlighting the year 1946 and taking a look at what was fandom like in 1946. 1946 was Pacificon, which was the first post-World War II Worldcon that happened. And it also had the first woman who was a guest of honor, Emaine Hall, and various other things that were going on. There was and so we're going to be looking at all of the books and things that came out in 1946 and saying which ones do we still know about versus which ones have fallen away, right? And that's being put together by, there's a group in Boston called the First Fandom Experience. They're a group of fanish historians. And so they're putting that together for us. So we'll have programming on that, and as well as a couple of exhibits around
That sounds cool.
1946. Yeah, it's going to be really neat. We're really excited about that.
So any special bonuses for the costumers out there for theming to 1946?
We might. I haven't talked with the Masquerade crew. So our theme is Take to the Stars. That's the theme of the convention. And so I know that we're considering for like the Masquerade to do something like that. Certainly if people wanted to do stuff related to 1946, that would be super cool. The Masquerade is being run by the Chicagoland branch chapter, the Chicagoland chapter of the International Costumers Guild. And all the information on the Masquerade is already up on the website. So if people are interested in that, the rules are up there. You can contact the Masquerade team. I know customers sometimes need a fair amount of time to pull it all together, and we've already got that up there for you.
You mean you oh yes, Andrew J. Lucas. You ever need anybody to help you on your gaming stuff? He's one of our writers. We had him on to talk about gaming because he's like
Cool.
knows this stuff, and
Yeah.
he commented in there that Lake Geneva
Yep.
is where the D&D stuff came in.
Yep.
Through and it was fun. So
Well, he should, and anybody can do this. We have a volunteering page on our website.
You
So
hear that, Andrew?
if people want to help us out and say, "Hey, I'm interested in being part of the gaming team," or "I'm interested in, helping to do the newsletter," or "I'm interested in sitting at the registration desk," whatever. Go and fill out the volunteer form and tell us that you're interested, and then we'll be in touch.
Well, now, who is the person that's responsible for the quality control of the gin?
The gin?
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to do scotch, but I firmly believe that every convention should have a taste tester for gin.
I'm happy to help with that.
Oh,
I'm not a scotch person. I'm not a whiskey person. My partner is. But that's his drink of choice. But I'm very much a gin or a vodka person. I'm Polish by heritage, so vodka is kind of it's like in the blood. Um, but so many people have asked us this. If you've been to the Hyatt Regency before, there's up on the mezzanine level at the front of the hotel is called Big Bar. And it has this amazing, it's just this wall of glass windows, and then it has this wall display of glass shelves with all of the liquor bottles on it. And so one of the things that's really cool is if the sun's shining in the right way, you get this almost like stained glass effect from all the different colors in the booze. So but it's a great bar. We're going to be talking to the Hyatt about doing some specialized themed drinks for us
well,
that people can check out. So
and that's where the gin comes in because whiskey,
yeah.
yeah, it's a white bottle, clear bottle, but gin, you've got everything from the dark, dark glass of Hendrix to the sapphire to the
Mhm.
Tanqueray. I mean,
Mhm.
it's a virtual rainbow.
Well,
Uh,
and out here you have the oh, it's the purple one from Vancouver Island. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm blanking on the name of it. Oh, but it's so good, and it's like purple, and depending on what you mix it with, it'll change to sort of pink or blue or whatever. It's really
really, the
cool
gin
looking.
is purple.
Empress.
Just a
Yes.
second. I'm sorry. I got to make a note on this one because
Yep. Yep.
if there's anything I like my gin.
Empress
Um,
Gin from up on Vancouver Island. Highly recommend it.
well, if I
Uh,
was you, I would make sure I carried a bottle of it with me to Chicago, and I'll let you share a drink with me in the lounge.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
the
We will have lots of parties too. I can tell you that. Chicago convention scene is known for its evening hospitality. So,
oh, I do like it. Well,
yes.
here I know nobody can see me, and I'm still trying to figure this out because my nightmare is I'm going to get off of here and find out that, well, that was nice, Bob, but none of your streams went through. But I do know that I've checked; it's out there on the BQ project page. So
Okay.
we're gonna download this as a video, and if it's not out on YouTube, it will be out on YouTube, so you guys can spread it around.
Awesome. Thank you.
But the just a little bit of the local scene. I was walking through the lobby and I saw Elizabeth sitting there, and she's got a gaming convention that she is, or a convention that she's putting on in the Tri Cities here in a couple of weeks called SageCon.
Oh, I
So
saw that table. Yeah.
yeah, so if any of you guys are out there, it's a lot of work to start up a new con, and she's taking on some real work because I can still remember
Yes.
when I left Radcon, she came in and picked up the programming, and uh, I snickered and said, "Had it, you got it." But
Yep.
no,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
people don't realize how much fun it is
yeah.
programming a 2,000 person convention with 130 guests or something. It'll keep you busy.
Oh, for sure.
And
Convention running is just fantastic. I mean, I have because of convention running and particularly being involved in Worldcon, I mean, I have so many friends all around the world, right? It's just it is truly a global community, and it's fantastic. So
And I will say this, Worldcon, everyone I've been to, I mean, I don't care if you're in Ireland or in San Jose, it is a family reunion.
hmm yeah.
And just the watching the people coming in, because I still remember when I had a New York writer, Marlene Barr, wonderful woman, had written a book, and she had friends in Japan that were coming in for the convention in San Jose, and they saw that I had her book, and they bought a dozen of them to take back to Japan with them to share with their friends. And it was like,
Oh, that's awesome.
it is just the level of interconnectivity is amazing,
It is.
and so that's where I so much appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you
And
so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
well, I look forward to some of the guests that you're going to have that want to come on and help promote. Uh, we can do it when I'm in my normal setup, and I would look forward to it because
Sounds good.
B Cube Sunday morning, guys, is for those of you who are first timers. Um, it started off as just a shameless self promotion for B because we're not just small press. I need a step ladder to reach up and pick the fleas off the belly of a small press. Uh, but we have fun and we enjoy what we're doing, and it's been awesome. And just so you know, we have some recent books that we premiered last December at the last Worldcon, and that was Deathiness, Alternative Deathiness, and um Alternative War, and Spawn of War and Deathiness, all fun books. And this year, we are going to be able to premiere at the convention, assuming that all works out. Um, Not only getting a chance to have the writers there at this convention, the
hmm
but Alicia Hilton. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She is a wonderful writer, New York Times bestseller, but for some reason she has blessed us by coming in and helping us do some editing on a book called Alternative Holidays. Uh,
Nice.
and I tell you, we're gonna if you go in there and you've not talked about the dealer's room, let me just go in there and put this. Fandom is people like things to buy things that they can't always get down at
hmm
J.C. Penney. Uh,
hmm
and if you want to buy that special set of dice, that game, that book that's been out of print since 1943, and go find that little paperback version of it, this or thin paperback version wrapped up in a really durable baggie with find it there. Watching people set up for a dealer's room is the amazing part. They're in
Yeah.
there, 20 boxes of books and 30 feet of shelving, all just kind of throw themselves on the floor. And those people are just in there working and working away. And the next thing you know, there's lighting in there, there's jewelry, there's shelves and shelves of books, new
Yep.
books, old books, grumpy old men like me, fresh, sparkly faces. It's their first con, first dealer's room. And by God, they're going to rule the world. It is a
Yes.
magic culture, subculture, all its own at conventions is what
Yep.
you find in the dealer's room. And
Absolutely. And our dealer's room is now open for people to put in their application to be in it, as is our art show. And
art shows. I
yeah, the
mean,
exhibit hall is going to be phenomenal, right? Like you've got art show, you've got the dealer's room, all of the fan tables. So if you've got a club or a convention that you want to promote, we've got tables for you. We're going to have a fanzine lounge. Yeah. The exhibit hall is the heart, I think, of a Worldcon. Everybody goes through there at some point.
now you heard me say earlier that this is like a family reunion,
hmm
but here's the beautiful part about it. it's the kind of place where you walk into a space full of people, and they're all strangers sometimes. But this is a place where you're guaranteed that the strangers will all have things in common with you. You will be able to sit down with almost anybody there and start talking about something, you know,
True.
and find common ground. I don't care if you're into lace making or knit gloves.
Mhm.
If you're sitting there with your knitting needles, I'm guarantee you somebody's going to walk in and talk about, they knitted
Oh yeah.
themselves a full set of plate armor. Um,
Mhm.
it's so joyous, fun, light, happy, and I look forward to this being that kind of a con.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's
so
what we're
Helen,
aiming for.
you give me your last minute's worth of why I should spend the money to go to Worldcon, Chicago.
CHICON 8, Labor Day weekend, Chicago, Illinois, chicon.org. That's the important information. It's going to be a couple thousand people. As you said, everybody, you're going to find something in common with everybody you meet there. We are all different flavors of nerds and geeks, but we understand how to be nerds and geeks, right? And we appreciate each other's nerddom and geekdom. And if you're a fan of the Hugo Awards, you want to be at Worldcon. If you're a fan of Masquerades, you want to be at Worldcon. If you're a gamer, Worldcon. Love being on program panels and watching program and just sitting and moving from room to room, hearing cool conversations all day. Program. Fanzines, we've got that. I mean, everything is there. And it is 5 glorious days
And
in
I
what
will,
is honestly what I think one of the best cities in the world. So
and that's going to be something I'm looking forward to. And when does the hotel open up?
you can start booking your hotel rooms a week from tomorrow, April 25th. All of the information about the hotel is going up. Um, the updated information on the hotel is going up this week onto the website, and then the link will go live on the 25th.
Okay. Well, then, Helen, I would like to thank you and your staff behind you who made this possible.
You are
And
quite welcome.
you have a good time. And I'm about to click the button that says end the stream.
Thank you again for the invitation, and I will see you in the hallways of Norwestcon